Hey, hello, and a wonderful day to you. Let me kick off by once again reminding us one life, just one. So, why aren't we running like we are on fire towards our wildest goals and dreams? Hi, my name is Anton Benning, and today in this episode, I'm going to go over the Freedom Builder's Guide to the Will. The will is one of those higher faculties that we are studying throughout the, the coming four and the past two episodes. There are six higher faculties. There's the reason, the will, the perception, the imagination, the intuition, and the memory. When we realize that these higher faculties are our powers to create our circumstance instead of being a creature of circumstance, we can use these higher faculties to create, to become part of the creation process, and to create, let the universe create to and through us. Because that is the way that it works, and the will is what we are diving into a bit more deeply today. The will is that ability that we've got to hold an idea on the screen of our mind to the exclusion of all others. When President Kennedy asked Dr. Werner von Braun what it would take for us to get a man to the moon and bring him safely back to Earth, Dr. Werner von Braun didn't go into complex details, how much it would cost or how many engineers it would take. No, he simply stated the will to do it. And so the decision was made back in the 50s, it was, I believe, to put a man on the moon before the end of the decade. And through that will to do it, there was nothing else for the people working on that project to focus on. There was nothing else to do but to realize the feat of putting a man safely on the moon and bringing him safely back to Earth. And so that is it. It succeeded. They did it. And for us, it is our ability to focus our attention on those things that we need to do or that we need to focus on to realize what it is that we want out of life. Our will is something that we can train. It is like a muscle, it is like a bicep that we train in the gym. But our will, we train in a bit of a different manner. I learned from Bob Proctor that like two different ways, very, very simple ways to train it. For example, you can just purchase yourself a little candle and every single day put it in front of you, light it and stare into the flame. Focus all your attention on the flame in such a way that almost you become one with the flame, that there's nothing in your life but the flame. So you train your focus, you train your will to hold strong to one thing, to one concept, to one idea. In this case, something as simple as focusing on a flame. Another way to do it is to, in front of your favorite chair, put a little black dot on the wall. Don't worry, nobody will see it but you, because like nobody will look for it. And for you, it will become a thing that you can focus on every day, even if it is just in the beginning for 30 seconds or 60 seconds. Over time, you'll realize that it will become easier to focus on one thing without being distracted by everything else going on in life. I've heard somewhere recently that we as humans nowadays have a worse attention span than a goldfish. I think it was in the 80s or the 90s, our attention span to focus on one thing with the exclusion of all others without being distracted was on average about 20 minutes. And now our attention span went down to about 7 seconds. So we literally have our mind in a constant state of switching between different things. And when we are switching between different things, we are never really focusing our energy to realize one specific thing. We dissipate our energy between all these different things that we are switching between on average now apparently every 7 seconds. So we need to train our will again. We need to train that ability to focus on one thing, on one task, on one goal until we have created it in our lives. So these are two very simple tricks. Like you can stare into a flame, you can stare to a dot and like become the dot, like just to train your focus, just to train the power of that higher faculty, the will. But out of my own personal experience, what I realized is like a very simple way to increase the quality of your will is by shifting the time that you go to bed and the time that you wake up. Because think about it, like if our will is like a muscle, like it is weakest when it has been used the most. So after a long day of trying to get things done in work, trying to get things done in our personal and family lives, we have used our will time and again throughout the day. So think about it. Now really think. What are the times of the day that you're most likely to fall into your negative habitual behavior patterns? Say, for example, when do you grab for that beer? Or when do you want to crash down on the couch and watch that soap opera that you soap show that you know that wouldn't be positive material to put into your mind? It always happens, or almost always happens in the evenings, doesn't it? So for us, it is really easy and simple to realize, all right, if our negative behaviors happen in the evening because our willpower has almost left the building, our willpower has weakened throughout use during the day, then we can think of the idea, and this is what something that's like really worked very well for me, is to get to bed earlier and wake up earlier. Because think about it, when are we most effective? When are we sharpest? Earliest in the morning. So if we add some extra hours to the beginning of our day, to the beginning where our focus is sharpest, where our willpower is strongest, we can truly become so much more effective, and not just become more effective, but we also let go of those negative behaviors that we tend to fall into during the later evenings. So this is how we can train the will. This is how we can grow our willpower. And you've probably heard it before from all these different personal development gurus. Where focus goes, energy flows. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. The will is that ability to focus, that ability to put all your energy onto one thing. I think it was Warren Buffett. No, I think it was Andrew Carnegie that said, put all your eggs in one basket and then put all your attention to that basket. Put all your focus to that basket. So decide upon one goal and put all your will, all your focus on that goal until it is realized. And when we exclude everything else, by law, it cannot help but turn into the form of reality. The idea cannot help but turn into form when we give it our energy, when we give it our focus. That's by law of vibration, that's by law of gender. And so step by step, we realize that we are creators of circumstance and we are not creatures of circumstance. Several different ways to increase the quality of your higher faculty, the will. And on Tuesday, we will move on on how to optimize our memory. Our memory is another higher faculty of our mind. So I'm looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Thank you very much for listening today. Don't forget, my friends, to live with love and live with passion. Namaste.